but I love seeing this because this means we can actually win switch right here if they don't shield, or at least get a shield advantage. But instead, we get a bunch of lag, and when this happens, you know what's coming next. Yes, it is the third shield glitch, and now the opponent gets to farm us down. What an absolute joke of a game this is. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like Gene Kitten, thank you for the support. In today's video, we're taking a look at some battles in the Sinnoh Cup, and I ran a bunch of teams on the first 2 days of Sinnoh Cup, and none of them really stood out until this final team that we are showcasing today, a classic ABB strategy with Bastiodon in the lead. It is a non-XL Bastiodon, I believe it is level 40 if I'm not mistaken, and then we have Drifblim plus Gastrodon in the back, which are basically two solid coverage options for the weaknesses of Bastiodon in the lead. So of all the teams I have tried thus far in the Sinnoh Cup, this is definitely the best one I have found success with. And so of all the teams I've tested thus far, this team basically works on a classic ABB strategy. You want to swap out into the Drifblim or the Gastrodon to lure out the flying or ice type. Typically it's going to be Drifblim or Froslass, at which point you come back in with the Bastiodon, hope that Gastrodon or Drifblim could close out the game after with shields. And yes, that is not a still image in the background right now, that is the queue time. There's actually queue times in the 2600s for some reason. I mean, they're not 10-minute queue times, but sometimes it takes me 3 to 4 minutes to find the battle, which of course is very, very tilting at this point of the season. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure you smash that like button, it really helps the channel grow. Leave a comment in the comments section down below. Now without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. I know a lot of you might be asking, how did Go Battle Day go for me? Well, I actually climbed to the 2900s using Reshiram, and then from there, it was all downhill, tanking into the 2600s. So that's where we start today with this team in the Sinnoh Cup. We are leading Bastiodon here into a Drifblim, one of the better leads you could see. What I like about this team is that we do have two solid answers in the back for when we see one of the harder counters. Usually that's going to be Toxicroak, Lucario, or Gastrodon. Right here we bring Gastrodon into the Empoleon. This of course is our best answer and pretty much one of our only answers to Empoleon, to be honest. Has a pretty solid matchup here. I did shield just to guarantee that I maintain alignment. Very important to keep the Bastiodon onto that Drifblim, of course. Right here, this is one of the worst matchups to be locked into with Gastrodon, but it's totally fine here because we do have the solid answer in Bastiodon still awaiting this Drifblim. The opponent actually throws two, which is very nice for us. Any energy wasted here is optimal. Gonna get off this body slam for some chip damage. And now it's really gonna come down to Drifblim in the back. The opponent does have a shield advantage, which isn't ideal, but Bastiodon of course does not need a shield for Drifblim. So this really comes down to whatever is hiding in the back for this opponent. And it turns out to be Lucario, so also running an ABB team right here. And we have a decision to make. Do we shield the first move from the Lucario or let it go? I think in this situation with the shield advantage, it makes sense to go straight Shadow Ball here. So I actually am going to shield this up. And that's big for us because now we get to the Icy Wind before the next Shadow Ball, which means that we're actually going to be able to survive the next Shadow Ball after the double debuff here. And that's going to allow us to close out this game. So Shadow Ball comes through, opponent swaps out. I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball here. Could have just went for the safer play with Icy Wind. This is totally fine because Bastiodon doesn't really need the shield here. Going to farm down, and we have the flamethrower ready to go on that Lucario once it comes back in. And we're going to be able to take this game. So a little bit of overkill right here actually with the 1 HP flamethrower, but it is what it is. 1-0 start here. And you may notice there is no camera today. I'm actually feeling quite sick and I look horrible. I pretty much look like that picture on the screen right here. So that is a real life image of what I look like currently. My voice may be a little bit coarse, and you know, I don't know how long this is going to last, but hopefully we get the camera back up soon. In the meantime, we see a horrible lead right here, so I swap out into the Drifblim. Reason I came into Drifblim instead of the Gastrodon is because Gastrodon is a harder answer to Toxicroak. The opponent lets that Shadow Ball go through, so that is very nice for us. Empoleon comes back in. I'm going to actually bait with the Icy Wind, but we don't get there, so a little bit of a misplay here on our part. Hydro Cannon comes through, and I come in with Bastiodon here. Now, it's very important to understand why we come in with Bastiodon right here. The main reason is because it has zero play. This is basically a sack at this point. We are clearing the path for Gastrodon to come in here and farm down this Empoleon, finish off the game, because it has a very solid matchup against the Toxicroak due to that poison typing. So I'm going to shield this because Hydro Cannon does more than any move coming from the Toxicroak. We farm down, we have the body slams ready to go, and from here we'll be able to get off 2 body slams. We actually survive any move coming from the Toxicroak as well. So Gastrodon is actually going to be able to close out this game, and we come back from a very difficult lead right there. Of course, we got bailed out by landing that Shadow Ball on the Froslass, which I wasn't expecting, but hey, we are going to take that every single time. Let's hop into the next battle. And we are off to a 2-0 start here, leading Bastiodon this time into a Gastrodon, so another horrible lead right here. And this time we are going to swap out into the Gastrodon. Now, the reason I come with Gastrodon here is because Drifblim is the hardest counter to the opposing Gastrodon. So as you can see right here, they bring in Froslass, and we actually win this in the 0 shield. So I go for the Earth Power, and now from here we could actually take Switch, and I'm going to shield just to be safe here, because winning Switch is extremely important right here. We now have alignment. Bastiodon comes in. The opponent doesn't want the smoke. They're going to back out of the matchup. A very quick one right there in the Sinnoh Cup. This cup, a lot of people are saying it's very rock, paper, scissors, and I could agree with that. It is quite rock, paper, scissors. In fact, I'm running Bastiodon, which is the definition of RPS. And here is a beautiful lead right here. Toxicroak comes in. Like I said, we have very solid coverage in the back when we win lead. Drifblim and Gastrodon pretty much cover almost everything in the meta. And we do land the Icy Wind right here. We don't have to really shield anything from this Toxicroak, so I'm going to consider farming down completely here and just having a bunch of energy ready to go on the Drifblim. So the opponent's going to throw again. I'm not going to shield this up. Going to commit to the Hex, farm down, and we are at exactly 100 energy. Froslass comes in, going straight for that nuke right here. Bang! There it is. Froslass gets taken out. Lucario comes in. We got another Shadow Ball ready to go. Bang! There it is. Drifblim basically sweeping this. I should not have swapped out, because that could have been a great video right there with Drifblim sweeping the entire team. I mean, it basically did, but unfortunately I swapped out, and it's not a real sweep as a result. But let's hop into the next battle. We get a Toxicroak lead, another awful lead right here. So I'm going to swap out this time into the Gastrodon, which is debatable. We did bail out the Froslass right here. You can come in Drifblim or Gastrodon. I mix it up completely. Still not sure which one I prefer, but I love seeing this because this means we can actually win Switch right here if they don't shield, or at least get a shield advantage. But instead, we get a bunch of lag, and when this happens, you know what's coming next. Yes, it is the 3rd shield glitch, and now the opponent gets to farm us down. What an absolute joke of a game this is. And that's going to, of course, affect the outcome of this battle. Maybe not, maybe we still lose anyways, but it's definitely going to affect how close this game would have been. So we farm down the Froslass here. Opponent still has a shield. Here comes Barrel. The Barrel I actually think is one of the best core breakers for this meta. I definitely want to test it out on some teams. Throw the Icy Wind there. And this is a pretty horrible matchup for Drifblim, to be honest. If we had one Switch, I could have put Bastiodon onto this Barrel instead, and then have Drifblim for the Toxicroak. So I think this game definitely was winnable. But if they shielded the Earth Power, we would have probably still ended up losing anyways because of alignment. But hey, it is what it is. These things happen in the game, and hopefully they only happen like once in your 5 sets of battles per day. But as you're going to see in this video, that wasn't the only time. And it's going to happen rather quickly, actually. So we throw the Icy Wind here. This game is over. I'm just prolonging it, basically. Wanted to see how close this match was with Barrel, and now there's no point to stay in here. So I am going to leave this match. I do not want the damn smoke. And we are going to go 4-1 in that set. Could have been 5-0 potentially, if not for that glitch. But it is what it is. We'll take the 4-1, move into the next set. So jumping into the second set of battles right here, fresh off a 4-1 set. Let's see what we see in the lead. This time we got Bastiodon here into a Bastiodon. So this is actually a horrible matchup because we do not have an XL. But I believe the opponent also was not running an XL here, so it's a pretty even matchup, as you're going to see. Of course, it's a very long, boring matchup, so we are going to speed this up, because I know people are not here to see wall face on wall face crime. And we do sneak in the extra smackdown there, very nice, but we give it right back to the opponent anyways, so not a big deal. Go for the flamethrower right here, and look at this. Look at this. Some more lag. Not only is it lag, 3rd shield glitch in back-to-back games. Are you kidding me right now, Niantic? Absolute joke. And now pretty much guaranteed to lose this matchup right here. So Flamethrower comes through. Things are looking horrible right now. We're going to lose this lead matchup, obviously. I will be able to come with Gastrodon here and get an energy lead, but things are looking pretty rough right here. Let's see what they have. Coming to Froslass, which isn't the worst thing to see. And we are going to let this first one go through. I'm expecting them to maybe have a second steel type in the back potentially. Maybe like ABA weak to Gastrodon, but we'll find out here. They do shield up the Earth Power, which tells me they're probably weak to Gastrodon, so I'm actually going to let this go. Drifblim with a shield advantage could actually take care of Froslass from this range. So I'm going to shield up this move, try and farm down here before they get to another one, and hope that Drifblim could carry. And that is what we like to see in the back. Definitely weak to Gastrodon, but also very weak to Drifblim. And this game just turned into a potential win here, despite the third shield glitch for the opponent. So you love to see that. Going for the Icy Wind right here. And I'm probably just going to throw the Icy Wind before they get to another Sludge Bomb, because this is going to guarantee that we win this game with a Hex down on the Froslass. We win that game with a shield in hand against the opponent's 3 shields. GG, you love to see that. Always feels very good. This next battle right here is a classic example of Noob Ox in the flesh. We got Bastiodon to Gliscor, one of the more difficult leads for this team. I'm actually going to try and catch an Earthquake here onto the Drifblim, which is risky because of course we could catch a Night Slash instead. Now thankfully Night Slash won't KO anyways, but look at that catch. You love to see it. But is it the Earthquake? Yes, it is. Absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, they are going to reach a Night Slash anyways right here. And it's a very risky play to try catching because, of course, you could catch the Night Slash sometimes. So, not the safest play. Munchlax comes in. And right now, it looks like, hey, Ox, how is this a bad game? You're playing very well so far. Well, you're about to see right here. We're going to let this Body Slam go through. And I start looking at my switch time and I see it's almost up. So, maybe I could farm all this energy and actually swap out into the Bastiodon. So, that's what I'm trying to do. Instead, I go down with basically 100 energy and a lot of health still left on this Munchlax, and that is not where the noob plays. And my friends, Bulldoze comes through, going to overfarm a little bit, throw the Stone Edge on the CNP tie. If this is Bulldoze, we get taken out. I don't want to shield. Oh my goodness, how bad are we at this game? Gastrodon comes back in. Here comes the Gliscor. And the funny part is I'm pretty sure this opponent is very weak to Gastrodon in the back. So this was definitely a very winnable game right here. I didn't shield hoping to call the bait, but we're going to throw the Body Slam right here. They're going to let that go through. We are going to commit to the farm down. This game is over, but the opponent's taken a very long time to come in, probably praying to the gods for this beautiful throw by the Ox Lord. And here comes the Body Slam onto the Munchlax. And the opponent's actually going to shield because they don't want me to see that they were very weak to Gastrodon in the back. I know it for a fact. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. GG to the opponent though. Very well played. Very poorly played on my part. That definitely was a winnable game. So let's hop into the next one. Empoleon lead here. This is quite rough, but Drifblim has some play. I do swap out into Drifblim here because sometimes they will stay in this match. And ideally, that's what I want. So I am going to shield up the first Hydro Cannon. This is a very bait dependent game here against the Empoleon. Drifblim actually can win this. And we're going to go straight for the Shadow Ball right here. The opponent does shield that up, so I'm going to build up again. Get to another Shadow Ball right here. But I'm going to bait with the Icy Wind. The opponent isn't throwing. Maybe they're saving or looking for the farm down. They do shield the Icy Wind. They're going for the complete farm down. We get to the Shadow Ball, but is it enough to take out the Empoleon with almost 100 energy? Bang! Yes, it is. Empoleon gets taken out. We win switch with Drifblim, and that means we get to bring Gastrodon onto the Toxicroak. You guys already know how this battle goes right here. Very comfy for the Gastrodon. The opponent is staying in. We're going to throw the Body Slam right here. What do they have hiding in the back? It is a Drifblim. They don't want the smoke. Backing out of that match right there. We take that game against a very difficult lead in Empoleon. But again, managed to overcome it with this team Bastiodon into Empoleon once again. So we're going to swap out into the Drifblim again. And again, it's a very bait dependent match. And we're going to go for the Shadow Ball, I think, once more. Going to shield up the Hydro Cannon. The opponent, last time they shielded the first move. Let's see if this opponent does the same. and they actually do, which makes me feel like I should have thrown Icy Wind, but it is what it is. I'm going to get to the next move, going to throw the Icy Wind here. So same as the previous match, we get the second shield, and this opponent is going to throw. Now I have to make a calculated decision right here. I figured I could reach the Shadow Ball, but they could also swap out, so a very risky play, catching this move onto, say, like a Munchlax. Well, they would have brought Munchlax in, to be honest. Maybe they don't have anything that could catch Shadow Ball. In that case, I guess Gastrodon, no, you don't want to really catch it on Gastrodon either. But this is looking pretty good right here because we won switch, and now we have Bastiodon aligned onto the Drifblim. I'm actually going to go for the Earth Power right here because this is going to put it in farm down range. You can see that does a lot of damage right there. The opponent decides to back out of the match. We take that game. Hopping into the next battle right here. And we're going to be leading Bastiodon this time into a Froslass. So this is a beautiful lead. And this was actually a very interesting battle because Licky Licky comes in here. And I honestly had no idea what the moveset was. I know it has Body Slam and Shadow Ball, so I figured this is an interesting switch to come in with Licky Licky. Even more interesting to shield right here. I have no clue that this thing learns Earthquake, just so you guys know. So I had no shield here, expecting no Earthquake. They actually go for Body Slam. And look at how quick, look how confident I am. No shield immediately, and it's an Earthquake. So I bang on myself, and I had no idea this thing learned Earthquake. So I wasn't shielding because I was like I just didn't know they had Earthquake. So we get screwed there. Licky Licky gets to another move here. I'm actually going to no shield the Gastrodon right here. So this is looking pretty rough for us at this moment. Body Slam comes through. I'm able to farm down. They come back into Froslass. I'm hoping they really do no shield this right here. They probably don't want to go down 2 shields, so they do choose to no shield. I come with Drifblim. Now it's playable. As long as they're weak to Drifblim in the back, we have some play because Drifblim could beat Froslass here with the shield advantage. If they shield this up, I am pretty confident that they are going to be very weak in the back to Drifblim, and that is what they do. So I'm going to match the shield here, of course. They're likely going to swap out. Here comes the Gastrodon going for the Icy Wind just to lower the attack. Make sure I survive any move coming from the Gastrodon and then build up to the Shadow Ball right here. This is going to fall just short of knocking out the Gastrodon. But look at this, the disrespectful, unnecessary catch onto the Gastrodon. You love to see it. Body Slam wouldn't KO anyway, so it's not a big deal. Drifblim taking this game. We go 4-1 in back-to-back sets. Could have actually been 5-0 in both of those sets if not for some lag and some misplays, but we will happily take this, jump back over the 2700 mark. This team seems pretty legit. So those were the battles in the Sinnoh Cup using this ABB team with Bastiodon, Drifblim, and Gastrodon. So far in the Sinnoh Cup, it's still very early, but this has been the team I found the most success with. Bastiodon, a lot of people are shying away from it, but it still has a lot of play, especially with all those Froslass safe switch looming around. If you guys enjoyed this content, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.